Every name we drop got roots in the grind. History speaks loud, just listen to the line. We struggle to shine, we honor the climb. We're losses hit deep, but sharp in the mind. Real don't flex, they just move with weight. Welcome to the legacy, room A-108. Go to the legacy. Yeah.
Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Room A-108. As always, here with my dog David, and we are here with my boy Jarvis, aka Joe D, from the Fourth and Inches podcast. Man, happy to have my dog here. I was grateful enough to hop on with those dudes a few nights ago. Chopped it up, and we had a good time, man. A lot of laughs, some good football talk.
For sure.
Of course, we previewed some college football. You know, one in particular that you know that ended up going our way.
I'll keep throwing it out there, huh?
But appreciative for sure of my dog hopping on, man. So welcome onto the pod, Joe D.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man. Dope intro,
welcome.
Dope intro, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, welcome, man. Appreciate you coming on the pod. I watched the episode you had with CJ. You all got some amazing content over there, man. So shout out to you all. For all the Room A-108 followers we have, make sure you head on over to their pod and just give all the support that you show us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Like, follow, share the Fourth and Inches podcast, man, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Them dudes are solid, man, and they pumping out dope content for sure, bro. So before I get to we gonna get to you and your Nostradamus ways with the way you predicted your team to go, but but we gotta start with my boys taking down unfortunately for Mills. Taking down the nose in Tallahassee. Jody, what you think about how that game went? Did anything surprise you? Did it go the way you thought it would have went? What's the vibe down there? Talk to me, bro.
So I actually picked Florida State purely off hate. You know, I feel like all of us deserve a loss at this point in the season because my team was losing. So I picked Florida State. Did I expect it to go, you know, because essentially y'all dominated the game. You know, they came back a little bit at the end because I feel like, you know, Cristobal, as he normally do, got a little, you know, complacent, or not complacent, but you know, conservative. But I mean, y'all pretty much dominated the game top to bottom. The vibe in Tallahassee, you know, for those who don't know, I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, born and raised, you know, live back in Tallahassee. It's crazy, man. I tell you, what was it, Thursday? Thursday. Yeah, it was. I tell you, the traffic was already crazy. Man, the stars, you know, the football stars that were in town just for the game was crazy, man. Just, you know, like, dang, this guy Edrin James and, you know, Michael Irvin and all these guys in Tallahassee right now. I tried to avoid all the traffic. You know, my son had a game Saturday morning, so my wife like, where you going? We was going home. So I'm avoiding Florida State. I'm trying to get home, watch some football. But crazy game, man. I didn't expect it to, you know, be kind of one-sided. You know, like I said, it got a little close at the end, but, you know, for the most part, y'all dominated the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was a little squirrely at the beginning. Florida State came out and, you know, they went down. They was running the ball amazing to start, you know, and they get down there, and thankfully we was able to hold them to the field goal. But then I think Miami, you know, got their feet underneath them, and once they got comfortable, you know, they started to stretch their legs, and they pretty much handled business after that. But I mean, I always said, you know, I talked to y'all the other day, and I said if you take the running game out of Tommy and make him have to throw the ball, that's a different Florida State team that you're facing at that point. So thankfully we was able to go in there at even record wise. You could throw the records out the window. I know that's cliche. Everybody say that in rivalry games, but I mean, especially you would know more than us up here at the North. But I'm sure that reigns supreme down there in Florida, man. Y'all could throw them records out the window when them boys go to play each other down there in Florida, bro.
The hate is real. Trust me.
Dave, was you watching it? Was you watching the game, bro?
Yeah, but once it was like 28-3 in the third quarter, I was like, I don't have a dog in the race, so let me go ahead and cut this off. But I will say, CJ and I were talking about before the season when Beck made the decision to transfer to Miami. I had asked CJ, I was like, what do you think about that move? And, CJ was just like, man, we'll see. Because when you get Beck at his best, he can go blow for blow with anybody in the country. But at the same time, you get turnover Beck. The last couple games, he was kind of getting turnover happy, and we saw a little residuals from last year. But I mean, what do you have? 4 touchdowns, right? Against FSU.
Yeah.
When if he's playing at that level and he keeps it up, you guys can beat anybody in college if he plays at that level. So I think he's going to be the horse you all ride on this season. If he keeps it up, he's going to be that name called number 1 come draft day. But it's a big question mark. I mean, Beck has he has all the talent in the world. It's just between the ears. That's his biggest issue. So, but yeah, I cut it off at the end and I looked at the score. I was like, man, they came back. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they stacked. They at multiple positions that you're gonna lean on, throughout the season. Like they stacked. Not only are they stacked with upperclassmen that are going to get drafted, in the first 3 rounds of the draft, but they got guys coming behind them.
Yeah.
So that's a scary thing about Miami when you look at that team. And
Tony's only a freshman.
Only a true freshman. So yeah, man. Like they stacked, man. They loaded, and they got guys that's coming behind them. So as long as they handle their business the rest of this year, and who knows what'll happen in the playoff, but they got guys that's going to replenish the system when some of these upperclassmen leave. Then man, that's for sure.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm just saying, that quarterback position heavy, man. So that's all. That's kind of like
and he. I mean, it's all. I mean, this is Carson Beck's world, as the way I see it. Like, he went into last season as, kind of the QB1, going into the draft, and his season went the way that it went. You go from everybody saying that you could be, top 1 or 2 quarterbacks drafted, and then, the season starts to unravel for him, and then he has the injury, so now he don't have no choice but to come back. So where you gonna go at that point? Georgia had already moved on, so he had to look and latch on somewhere that he could rebuild his stock. And Miami was the obvious choice for not even just from a football standpoint, but from some of the off the field, kind of things that you could latch on to. But
and his girlfriend was down there.
I didn't want to say that. That's all. I was like, it's some of the off the field stuff. So it was an obvious choice for why he decided to go there. But if he keep playing the way he playing right now and Miami keep rolling, he'll be in New York for the Heisman presentation. Whether he wins it or not is another story, but he'll be there as a Heisman finalist, and Miami should be right up there, hopefully playing in a national championship game, man. And you're looking at a guy who, saved his career, saved his draft stock, and the sky's the limit for him, man. Shout out to him. If it goes that way, another case of somebody, taking their career and their future in their own hands and doing the most with it, man, for sure.
Yeah, and like David was saying, that the team goes as he go right now. It's kind of, if he stays on this wave, y'all gonna continue to win. Now if he starts slipping, as we seen him do and Georgia had a lot of drops last year, receiver wise. It was a lot of drop passes, so a lot of the interceptions, some of the interceptions wasn't on him, but he didn't play well down the stretch. So if it comes to that, then y'all might start seeing some games not go y'all way.
For sure. We hopefully it don't go that route.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll move on to, we got to add another AKA to Jarvis, aka Joe D, aka Nostradamus, because the man said if Florida scores 24 points, they win.
Facts.
And I said the other night, the reason why I said I was worried, for you and Gators fans, was if Arch would have came down there to the swamp and played, amazingly and led them to a win, y'all would have been the butt of every college football, show. Everybody would have been hyping him up and doing what they do best. But as you said it,
Yeah.
Florida scored 24 points, Florida win. And I picked y'all. So like I said, me and Bird 3-0 on the picks from the other day. So shout out to my
I can get
boy
some
Bird.
parlays
But
in. Put
Yeah.
some parlays down.
I'm not a betting man, dog, and people tell me I should because I know football. I coach football, so but I'm not. I hate losing money. I hate losing money, so I don't bet.
But just real quick, give you your props on the pick. You said Florida scored 24 points, Florida wins. So the floor is yours. How did that game go? And let's hear your thoughts on that, bro.
So defensively, I felt like we did what we were supposed to do. I had full confidence in our defense. And that's why I fully believe that if we score 24 points, we're going to win the game. Our defense been playing lights out. Our defense have been playing, as good as, the top defenses in the nation. I feel we were able to put pressure on them. We were able to rattle them. And truth be told, it was a few passes that if he connected on, it might have been a close ball game. So, our secondary might need, clean up some things this week. But as far as, defensively, we played well. We have a post on offense now, and I hope this is, foreshadowing for things to come for the rest of the season, because we're kind of stagnant on offense the past few games. Lagway didn't look good. The play calling was terrible. We got Dallas Wilson back, but I feel like, if this is what it's to come from,
That dude built like a tank.
Oh man, he's a dog.
My bad, bro. Just that dude built like a tank,
freshman.
Bro.
Like, what's up? What are they feeding these kids?
Hey man, I might need to send my son down there to live with you for football season, bro.
You been seeing the highlights my son been putting up every week. But
my boy down there with you, bro.
Man, yeah, but yeah, he was, Dallas Wilson proving that he was, a piece that was missing in his offense. And I feel like if we continue this, this groove that we in offensively, then we should win some ball games. In hell, Billy might keep his job. Do I want him to keep his job? But we'll see.
What do you need to see for the rest of the year for you to kind of endorse him coming back next year?
Offense. Put up some points. Offense. Run. And I said it. I said it. I think when you was on. If we run ball, 20, 25 times a game, we win a lot of games. He's an elite running back. Run him. Let it set up. Open up the passing game. Go downfield. We have elite receivers. Just put up some points. Our defense can hold on the back end. Put up some points.
Dave, when you was watching it, or when you checked out any of that game, did any of that anything kind of stick out to you with Arch play in particular?
I was just about to say, man, it's like you're in my head, man. You segue perfectly, because I was gonna say Arch Manning is this year's Carson Beck. Perfect. It's a blueprint. It's copy paste, right?
I like it.
Getting all the hype come preseason. He was supposed to be all last year. We were hearing about there's the quarterback draft class wasn't that deep, but this next draft class is going to be huge with Arch Manning leading the way. He's tanking, losing all the big games, and I mean it's pretty much a given that he's going to come back next year. I mean I would be surprised out of my draws if he were to leave for the NFL. after the year he had. So, um, I don't want to
I think
be
he
too
has to
overly
anyway,
critical.
don't he? My bad. I
Is
didn't
he a
mean to
true
cut. Does
sophomore?
he? I would have to look at his. I don't remember.
He's been there for at least. I think this is his third
Does he
year.
have to come back next?
'Cause I think he redshirted his first year, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's 3 years after you graduate high school, you can enter the draft.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so I didn't.
I think he's
I'm
good.
sure he has another year eligibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't
Oh
know
yeah,
if
no,
if he was forced, if he could, like his draft eligibility is what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
If
you
he
saying why he's
decided
too
to come
early?
out,
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was this year or next year.
Now he's
That's
been.
No,
all.
no,
This
it
is
is
his
this
third
year.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is his
Okay.
third year, definitely.
It, I was just saying I don't want to be overly critical of him because it's like he's on the opposite end of the spectrum that Shador is going through right now, right? It's
Mhm.
like Shador is being overly criticized and Arch Manning is being overly hyped, you know? So in all fairness, it's like, okay, is he really underachieving? Yeah, from the critics' eyes, quote unquote critics. But I mean, he's in the SEC now. Texas being in the SEC is a whole different ballgame. And for him, I mean, yeah, he got his feet wet last year when Ewers went out for a couple games, but I mean, the team is on his back this year. So,
Mhm.
I mean, he's just gonna have to go through them growing pains and tough it out. I'm not saying I'm writing him off because another year might do him some good, like what Carson Beck is showing us. But yeah, man, like I said, just copy and paste this year's Carson Beck.
He's
And
being
I want to
coddled
throw
for
something out there,
sure.
man. I want to throw something out there. I know we'll get into it next, but um, 3 teams ranked in the top 10 preseason are no longer ranked now. You got Texas, you got Clemson, and you got Penn State. All of them dropped out. So them preseason rankings, they have to have significantly less meaning now on how people sway and rank people because it's proven that just don't matter.
The craziest part is 2 of those teams that you mentioned, Clemson and Penn State, was preseason top 5 rankings.
Right.
Yeah.
Clemson was like
And
3 or 4, and
No,
Penn State was
Texas.
or
Texas was one. Texas
Texas
was
was
number one.
1.
Texas was number one.
So all
OSU was
3 of
number
those
two.
is okay. I'm tripping. So all 3 of those teams were top 5 or 6 somewhere around
Yeah.
there ranked in the start of the season, and
Yep.
now they out of there. That's
it's crazy.
But before you move on, like Arch is definitely being coddled, and he's being insulated by the powers that be in his
No, for
team
sure. For
because
sure.
we sit here on Monday night, 2 days after that loss, and you haven't heard a peep about it. I haven't heard a peep about that game. Nobody's even talking about it other than us sitting here, talking about my boy's favorite team coming up with that win. Nobody's talking about it. But if it was the other way around,
Yeah.
like I said the other night, if Arch would have went down there to the swamp,
He's the greatest quarterback ever.
oh man, we would have been hearing about it all day and night, bro. All day and night. So whatever team he has, and of course we know who his uncle is and his team, his uncles, I should say. We know who his family is. So they doing a good job of insulating him and coddling him to the point where a lot of that negativity ain't being out there. But I just thought about it when you made that Shador comparison, Dave. So it's like, oh man,
It's the
if it
opposite,
would have
right?
been
It's the complete
if it
opposite.
would have been the other way around, if he would have went down
Yes,
there and
sir.
led them
Yes,
to
sir.
a 30 to 24 win, and he threw a few touchdowns and
Mhm.
what I'm saying, looked great, and 70% completion percentage or something like that, man, we still be
Hand him the
it would have been
Heisman.
shoved down our throats for 2 days, bro. Y'all know
Yeah.
how that goes. So
Mhm.
so yeah, man. So yeah, but oh, how about the latest loss from James Franklin led Penn State Nittany Lions, bro? I feel like at some point we got to start talking about is Penn State ready to move on, because you you cannot lose that game against a 0-4 UCLA team. Penn State coming back from the whiteout game against Oregon, tough 2 OT game that they end up losing, And you gotta get your boys ready to play, man. And you come out the next week and lay an egg and lose against a winless UCLA team
with
for a lot
100
of
people in the stands.
for, for a lot of other programs, a lot of other fan bases, man, they'd be calling. And I'm not tapped in to Penn State like that, so maybe they are. But I just for a lot of other fan bases, they'd be calling for that man job right now. So maybe they are, and I'm just not hearing it. But yeah, that's not a good look for James Franklin and Penn State.
So I got a question because it seems like this happens to him every year. What do you think he's missing, or what do you think he needs to turn that corner? Because it's like every year he's right there, and then it's just like nothing.
Uh,
What is?
Me personally, this is
Mhm.
what I think. This is me personally. So Penn State is right on the cusp of that elite program status. You know what I mean? Like you got your heavy hitter teams, the upper echelon, and they're right below that. I mean, yeah, they compete year in year out, but they're not that team where it's like if you have a bad season, you got to fire him right away. So
Mhm.
I think, me personally, I think he's safe only because I don't think Penn State gets the athletes that everybody else gets. Now I know
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it does come down to coaching, but when you have coaches that are just as good as you, that also have the athletes, and the money to spend now, I think that's where he ends up getting that one loss every season. Because I mean, when's the last time you seen Penn State finish in the top 25 recruiting classes? You just really
Yeah.
don't see it
Yeah.
too
You don't even
often.
hear about it. You don't even hear about their
No,
recruiting class at all.
they snatch up all their in-state prospects, which is what they're supposed to do. But um, and I just want to add this in there. My bad. I don't want to eat up all the time, but last year, um, Jarvis, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I'm a diehard Michigan fan. So
Okay.
I'm Big Ten through and through. So I know about what's going on in Big Ten in and out. And last year, that's when we brought in USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. Midway through the season, the Midwest teams that took a trip out west, I think they were 0-6 going midway through the season.
Mhm.
It's tough for these Midwest teams when you're in conference mode, where they're used to traveling, 2-hour plane rides, even a couple hour bus ride, and now you're going all the way on West
Across
Coast,
the
jumping
country.
2 time
Yeah.
zones. Yeah, and I mean, Michigan took a loss to Washington last year that they shouldn't have lost. And there were quite a few upsets last year. So I think there were just so many. And Penn State got beat up last week by Oregon at home. There was just a lot of things, and it really sounds like I'm making an excuse for them, but I really don't care about Penn State. I'm not. It's everybody but Michigan, so I'm not making an excuse for them. I'm just saying this is just what my perspective of it. But at the
Uh-huh.
end of the day, you know, if Franklin can't get it done. I mean, I can see them maybe
Well,
being
you
forced
said
to make a move, but I don't know if they're really it's going to be in-house. It might be external factors that do that. Now, I don't think it'll be internal.
So
yeah.
he may be winning just enough to keep his job.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you said that you don't see Penn State isn't getting the quote unquote athletes, and I think a lot of the reason why they're not getting the athletes is because James Franklin doesn't move the needle for for those
Yep.
top recruits coming out of
That's
high
true.
school. So like
That's
if
true.
Mm.
I'm a junior in high school or I'm a senior in high school and I'm looking to go somewhere and I got 3, 4, 5 offers and one of them is James Franklin at Penn State, but I got another one that's Kirby Smart in Georgia, or I got another one that's Sharon Moore in Michigan, and I got these options. Like, what is James Franklin doing that's convincing me, and my parents and my family that that's the way to go? Because like he's consistently getting them to the cusp, but he's not doing enough to push them over the top.
Mm.
So until he's able to do that, and I don't even know if he's going to get the opportunity to do that there at this point. That loss against UCLA might have sealed his fate.
Yeah.
He might not even get the opportunity to rebound at this point. So that was always my thing. If you're not finally, getting over the hill and giving some of these recruits something to look forward to, and come from Cali and come from Texas and come from you, because you talked about doing a good job recruiting, in the area, but that ain't that ain't cutting it no more.
Yeah.
They were going to go there
Unless
anyways, no matter who was the coach.
yeah, that's not cutting it no more unless you in Texas or Florida. Like if you in Florida, you can recruit your state, you good. If you in Texas, you can recruit your state, you good. But if you up there, you gotta get down there and get some of them kids to come up there to your school. And if he's not, pushing his team, over the hill and getting some of these key wins, it ain't looking good for him, man. It ain't looking good for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move on, or if they have another, borderline ugly win. You could see him out before the year ends. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Bro.
Yeah, the way the Big Ten is stacked this year, being top heavy, I think that their fate is sealed, because with Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon, pretty much battling at the top right now. I don't see all of them losing twice. I don't see that happening.
No, you got to talk before we move on real quick, bro. And this is something that me and you, Dave, had talked about on some of our previous episodes. The way the portal timelines is right now. Like, if you gonna move on from a coach, you got to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because you got to have a contingency plan on who's coming in, so that when them kids hit the portal and them kids get to sign it, them kids got to know what they walking into.
What exactly?
You can't be late. You can't be late no more.
They're going to hit that Christmas portal instead of waiting.
Yeah, you can't be late no more in the world of the transfer portal, bro. So if Penn State is looking at him sideways now, they might as well just cut the cord and get it over with, and come up with some sort of plan so that they can move forward and let these kids that are going to hit the portal, and these kids that are getting ready to come out of high school, them kids need to know what they signing up for, and if Penn State is an option for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you said a mouthful then. You got it. Yeah, these kids definitely want to know who they being coached by, what coordinators, what position coaches. You got to get some guys in, like I said, sooner than later, because that's huge. Building that relationship with a coach is definitely, vital to recruit.
And it ain't even just so. I just thought about it now. And it ain't even so much of the kids that you trying to get in.
Transfers.
When you move on from a coach, the kids that are going to want to bounce.
Yeah.
So now you got to worry about the kids that you're trying to recruit, and the kids that you got to replace that's leaving because of the decision that you made at head coach. So yeah, it's the Wild West, but I ain't mad. I ain't, Dave. I'm speaking to the choir. I just said this so many times. While it's the Wild Wild West, before they put the guardrails on them, I hope these kids get every penny that they can get, bro, and just go get it. Go get it, because wasn't nobody crying when it was the other way around, and all these coaches in these schools was making money hand over fist off these kids, bro.
Right.
So go get it before they put the guardrails on it, and get what you can.
Yeah, no, and it's gonna come cracking down sooner than later. So get it now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, what we want to talk about now is, well, we kind of want to dig into next week. We have a few ranked games next week. First one up, it's that weak ass team versus U of I. So honestly, after last week, seeing U of I bounce back, and sidebar, this is exponentially biased. But seeing U of I last week bounce back after that nasty loss they had to Indiana the week before, and taking down USC, they got a little momentum. I will say Ohio State, I mean, I got to give credit when it's due. They probably have the best team on paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's just without a doubt. I mean, they're firing on all cylinders. Their defense is unreal. I mean, they'll probably have 5 or 6 guys maybe drafted within the top 40 picks this year in the draft. Um, it's just going to be tough to beat them, but they're at U of I, so I don't know if that'll make a difference. But I'm just curious to see that game and try to see what U of I team will show up. Because if it's that team that went against USC, granted USC is not Ohio State, but if they're bringing their best and not caught off guard like they did against Indiana, I think they can give Ohio State a run for their money, especially since Minnesota gave Ohio State a run for their money for quite a bit of the game last week. So, what do you all think?
So this is my thing. Like you said, Ohio State is the best team on paper, but this season, and it's something that we said on our podcast. Can you clearly in past years we've been able to pinpoint a number one team? We've been able to say by now we say that's I just watched the best team in the country. I don't think we can do that this year. Ohio State looks good on paper, but are they the clear cut number one team? Are they by week in and week out? Yeah, is Ohio State going to win? I feel like at some time this season they might slip. They haven't really played too much competition, so I it, it was a tight game with Texas, first game of the year. I just don't, will they win Saturday? Probably. I don't watch enough, Big Ten football. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I just feel like Ohio State isn't a clear cut number one team, but they are, good on paper.
Yeah, and they, undefeated. They one of the last handful of undefeated teams that's ranked in the top 10 right now. And they all got their flaws. I think that's kind of what you kind of alluding to.
Yeah.
Miami, I mean, are they right behind them in the rankings right now? But Miami has a lot of things that they need to clean up on. Especially with the way they ended that FSU game. They look dominant for most of the game, but then when you look up at the end, and like you said about Cristobal getting a little bit complacent, and then they end up, that ends as a one-score game.
Yeah.
And
Florida State led in I think most statistical categories.
Yeah, and then Oregon right behind them. They go and they win on the road in a double OT game against Penn State, but then Penn State goes and loses to UCLA. So
right.
is that even a good win? That win doesn't even look as good as it looked, a week ago. So
Florida State beating Alabama and then losing to Virginia. It's been a crazy year.
Hey, college football has been crazy, bro. So, yeah. But Ohio State going to Champaign. It's Ohio State 14.5-point favorites. Total of 50.5.
A lot of points.
Yeah, I would probably I don't know, man. I would say Illinois covers. I would still say Ohio State wins, and I would probably lean over, just because both of those teams have, been putting up points lately. But it's a lot of 14.5 is a lot of points, but I still think Ohio State goes down there and gets the job done. And it's unfortunate because I like what Brett Bielema is doing down in Champaign and U of I, bouncing them back. But I don't know. I think Ohio State got a little too much firepower for Illinois to handle, bro.
A lot of too much firepower for Illinois. A lot of too much. It's unreal. And this is coming from me.
Michigan fan, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I
hate them just as much as you hate them because they stole it or they stole the shit from us. So I hate it too. I hate them too, bro. So
yeah,
but it's a talented team over there, bro.
It is, and like I said, I mean, I have my bias. I'll admit it, my bias, but I will say this about them this year. What's different about this team than the past, 5 or 6 seasons is their defense are some dogs this year. Caleb Downs is just on a whole nother level. And so Michigan have been able to win the last 4 years because they were playing bully ball, bullying them in the trenches, showing, kind of exposing that Ohio State, which is all finesse, no grit. This year, it's like they got that chip on their shoulder and they're trying to play with a little grit. I mean, don't get it twisted. It's going to be 5 years running come end of October. So it's going to be 5 years running on Michigan's part. But I'm just saying this year, this Ohio State team is a little different. So I'm curious to see. They still got Penn State on their schedule. Although Penn State dropped to UCLA, I mean, they still took Oregon in the double T. So I mean, we'll see how that game pans out. Now, let me ask you this. Let's circle back. What if they come out and they beat Ohio State? What happens to Franklin's job then?
If Illinois beats,
No,
if
Penn
Illinois
State.
beats,
If Penn State beat
No,
if
Penn
Penn
State.
State.
In a couple weeks. I think it's like 3 or 4 weeks from now. My bad. I'm jumping ahead.
oh my bad. No, I mean, I don't know, man. Sometimes, it's one of the kind of like that saying, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, bro. Like, just
think it's over and done with.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like just the optics of the way that game against Oregon went, and it being such a close game, and even though you lost, when you look at the two teams that went up against each other, that's still a loss that you could have held up, in your favor down the road when it came to like playoff seeding and who gets in, who doesn't. If you still go out and handle your business, but then you come out the very next week and lose to a winless UCLA team, like that's all about you getting your team prepared and ready to play. So I don't know. I just don't see how they bounce back and do anything that covers up the stink of that loss. Like I can't see it, bro. Maybe it happens. Maybe I just don't see the vision. Like you told Mills, you ain't seeing the vision, bro. But I don't see the vision right now, bro. I don't see how he covers up that stink, bro. Because that was a bad loss. That was probably the worst loss of the season for any team with any sort of playoff aspirations, bro. That was terrible.
So I got one better. Say Ryan Day lose to Michigan again.
Oh, that's it for him. That's over with. He got that. So even last year he was getting the man. He needs to go. He had to win a national championship last year. He had to. That saved his job. Yeah. But
do you fired a man the year after he won a national championship?
You just, man.
Get over that. Michigan has had his number,
and that don't happen in Ohio State. Like, as a Michigan fan, I remember going on that 7-8 year drought, not being Ohio State. So they have this whole new expectation. So, and it's. I mean, Jarvis, I know you're familiar. Those rivalry games, especially if you lose them consecutively, that'll be it. Yeah, that's it. So I can see it, and you know what? That's not fair to him because you just won a national championship, but at the same time, you know what you're getting yourself into by taking that job. You know, like Harbaugh almost got fired for that same reason. If he didn't win that last year, he would have been fired.
Yep.
But he won.
But he did though. But he did win, and he moved on. He never got to the point where you were talking about firing him after he won. Like I hear what you're saying, but it's just wild to me that anybody would even put that in their calculus that the year after you won the national championship, you talk about firing the man.
Appreciate the natty, but
get up out of here. Right? That's wild. That's wild, man.
So while we have Jarvis here, I'm gonna go off script a little bit, CJ, just because you got SEC familiarities, ACC familiarities, and just a different perspective being down south. So I want to know. So me and CJ have talked pretty extensively about the playoff setup, right? And just to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of it, I am anti-playoff expansion. CJ is pro to an extent, right? Capped at, what did you say? You think 16 teams is about the perfect number, whatever. But so I just want to hear your perspective of it. So my thing is the biggest difference between college football and the NFL is that every single game mattered, right? So prior to this playoff, we had the BCS National Championship. You
Uh-huh.
lose a game, that was it. How many times did we see a two-loss team in the national championship back in the BCS days?
Not very many.
Florida is actually the only team I can think of when you all beat Ohio State that
Ohio
year.
State in 06,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you all leapfrogged us with the one loss because we had just lost to Ohio State and you all won. But that's besides
Yeah.
that's the only time I can think of a two-loss team making it. And then with the 4 team, it was still kind of the case. You really didn't see two-loss teams. But now with 12 teams, you can almost guarantee there's going to be a couple two-loss teams in there. So
Yeah.
this is my
Especially
perspective
this
of it.
year.
But yeah. So I want to know what are your thoughts? Are you welcoming to a playoff?
Yeah, I think 12 is a good number, honestly. Because with the BCS, it was so many what ifs that that were left, on the table at the end of the season. Like, this team would beat this team, and then that team would look better than this team, but these two teams making it the BCS national championship game, and it was just it was too many what ifs left on the table. So I feel like 12
Yeah.
might be a good number. But it's like I said, this year is crazy. So you might see some two-loss teams in the national champion, or and to make the playoffs this year, or even win the national championship, because teams get hot at the end of the season, and ain't no telling what might happen. But I'm for it. I'm for the playoffs. 12 teams might be a good number. 16 might be a little bit too much.
No. So, and I agree. So I'm cool with 12. So it's not that I'm not okay with 12. My thing is I use college basketball as kind of like an outline because, college basketball is the same thing. It started off with 8 teams and then expanded to 16 and then expanded to 32. And then, now it's just like, we talked about this before. How many college basketball games do you watch during the season?
Not a whole lot.
Because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just NCAA is all that matters. So I just don't want college football to get to that, to where,
right.
We get to week 13, 14, and you're benching starters because you're good. You don't need to play them.
I got
That's my biggest thing. And I just want your perspective. I didn't know if like maybe down south they had a different feel for it. Are a lot of people, for it, against it? I was just kind of trying to see the vibe that you all have down there.
Well, I can tell you from living in Tallahassee, they would be for it because Florida State would have got in a few years ago. So that's they I know they're all for it. They were left out of the 14 playoff a couple years ago. So yeah, it's I feel like a lot of people like it. Especially it might be it might get to a point where it might be SEC heavy. So some people might not like that because with SEC reigns supreme. So I don't know how people might feel about that because you might see half the teams in the playoff SEC teams.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, so I've said it numerous times on our podcast, man. I mean, there's definitely SEC bias in the NCAA. I mean, it definitely is. And
as a Florida fan, I can admit.
Yeah, and I don't know if NIL is changing that, but I mean, still, and you know what? And this is, I'll put my bias aside though, because I mean, you can't argue the fact that the SEC was the premier conference in football for what? I mean, it had to be the last 20 years, 25 plus years, right?
Yeah.
So you can't deny that. And then even when you look at standouts in the NFL, I mean, how many of them are SEC products?
Right.
So I can't hate, but I hate to see my Big Ten kind of get overshadowed a lot because they do. And in favor of the SEC. But I don't know. At the end of the day, you got to prove what you got to prove on the field. That's really all that matters. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, what you think, CJ?
I mean, I think I've been pretty consistent with like I don't have a problem with 12. I think 12 is a good number. I've always said that I know that 16 is coming just based off of, economics, bro, and
Landscape.
how college football works, how football in general works, the NFL model, money talks, and they're going to come up with some sort of landscape that sponsors are going to come in and they're going to extend it to 16. It is what it is. Like it's inevitable. So I'm already bracing for what's coming. So instead of sitting here, with a shield up for 12 teams and knowing that I'm about to get my ass kicked and run over, why would I sit here and and put up that fight when I know 16 eventually is coming within the next 3 to 5 years? So 12 is cool. I like how it's going right now. I think they did the change that they made was kind of the obvious change with the way that they did the automatic bids,
The
based on
first round bias.
I think that change was obvious based on how the first year went. And we'll see how this year goes. And maybe if this year and next year goes smoothly, maybe they put off that 16 for a little bit, but it's coming. Everybody should know that it's coming eventually. So it is what it is, man. Cash is king. As much as we say football is king, cash is kinger. If I
Right.
can make up a word, bro. Cash is kinger, bro. So it is what it is. It's inevitable, bro. We got to embrace it.
Let's just hope by the time we're 65, there's not as many teams in the playoff as our age. So
Yeah, no, but the only reason why I know you would like to try to draw that parallel between college basketball and college football, but the only reason why that'll never
it,
happen is because you can't play as many games.
there'll be no season. Yeah, there'll be no
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, like you can't play as many football games as they play, basketball games. So, it's you get to a point of no return where you can't expand anymore unless you just going to start the season with playoffs. You got to have some sort of ramp up. You got to have some sort of regular season to determine
Right.
who's in it. And
Yeah.
you get to a point where you just run out of real estate. You run out of time to run the season. So whether it's 16 or whether is like 20 or so, I don't know. But you're going to get to a point of no return where you just can't go past that without axing the regular season and making it non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's and Jarvis, I appreciate you your perspective on that. I had to go off script a little bit and just get your input on that. I was curious minds. Yep. But
Hey man, you
nah,
got
man,
my bad. Go ahead, bro.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say one of the games that we were talking about before we popped on, Alabama going to Missouri. Alabama 2.5 point favorites, total over under 51.5. That's kind of 2.5 point spread is kind of close. Down in Missouri, number 8 Alabama going against number 14 Missouri. How do y'all see that going?
I think Alabama has hit its stride. I haven't seen Missouri play this year, so honestly, I can't. I've seen Alabama play. I've seen the best of Alabama. I've seen the worst of Alabama this year already. I think they're getting to a groove, man. I can't. I haven't seen Missouri play yet. I don't think they've played too tough of an opponent, but Alabama's proven itself. Give me Alabama. Say it's 2.5 point favorite.
Bama 2.5 point favorites. Yeah.
They'll cover that.
Yeah,
I
they'll
think they'll
definitely
cover
cover
that
that.
easy.
Give
I
me
got them
Alabama
winning pretty
by
big.
14.
Yeah, at least. I agree.
Man,
Yeah.
so the only game of Missouri's that I saw earlier this year, I think it was like I don't think it was their first game, but it was like maybe like their second or third game, and they played Kansas. And I think it was, bro, the two of them put up like 60 points in the first half.
Oh wow.
I just remember because I was sitting on the couch waiting to leave for my son game in the afternoon, and I was sitting on the couch watching, and I was like, man, it was like 28 to like 24, 28. It was crazy. They put up a bunch of points in the first half, but I kind of see it the way you see it, bro. If not now, then when for Kalen DeBoer at Alabama? This is the spot where you need to be hitting your stride the way we see it. I think they go down to Missouri, and I think that's a double-digit win for Bama, in my opinion, bro. At least it should be if they want this season to go the way they want it to go. That's a game that you got to go down there. You got to impose your will on that, man, and come back with a double-digit victory.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. Like I said, I don't even think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a blowout. We kind of talked about it offline before we started up. I mean, Mizzou didn't even play anybody. I mean, they're undefeated, but I think their biggest win was South Carolina. Besides that, they played against a bunch of people that are under 500, unproven. So, I mean, I'll come on the next episode and I'll apologize to all Mizzou fans if they end up getting the W, but I'm pretty confident I'll be able to save my sorries on that one.
I don't know a Mizzou fan.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. That is a fact.
You might get a few. Might get a few of them in the comments now.
I told y'all.
And so the last game we got for next week, we got Indiana and Oregon. That's probably going to be the best game, at least in my opinion, of the week. So I think people are forgetting
Oregon. Number 7 Indiana. Number 3 Oregon.
Number 3 Oregon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think. Well, actually, I know because I've talked to quite a few people. People are forgetting that Indiana made the playoff last year, so everybody was kind of surprised.
They was in the top 10 this year. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. They're an easily forgettable team.
Yeah,
it's but there's no stars. They don't really have. Although their quarterback is balling out this year, but yeah, they don't have a marquee coach. I mean, he got a contract extension after last year, but he's not a household name. They're kind of just flying under the radar like they did last year. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in Oregon. So I would actually take. Yeah. I mean, on paper, this is going to be the best game. I would take Oregon winning by double digits that game because again, that Midwest flying out to the West Coast is going to be the same old. So anybody putting your parlays in. Take the points, whatever Oregon got. What is it, CJ? I know you know.
So Oregon is favored by 7.5 over under 55.5.
Take the over. Take the over.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these points. Take the over. If you gonna bet anything, take the over. 55.5. Yeah, they're gonna put up some points. I didn't. I haven't watched Indiana. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't watch Indiana football. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I watched Oregon against Penn State. That was a pretty good game. Like you said, the distance, the time travel, the time zones they got to travel in. Yeah, give me Oregon. And yeah, it's gonna be some point score. It's gonna be a high scoring football game.
Hey man, Oregon by 30.
Oh.
Hey, I can see it, man.
Oregon by 30, bro. I think Indiana's rise up the rankings has been more so to do about what's going on around them, more so than what they doing. It's a lot of teams in front of them and around them that's been losing games, so they just been the beneficiary of rising up the charts because teams in front of them is dropping.
Yeah,
that's the way I see Indiana. Yeah. They came out last year, they shocked a bunch of people, and then they got to the playoffs and they got the doors blown off them. They show up this year, and I don't know. I just don't see anything from that team that makes me even a little bit shooketh that they ready to play against a team like Oregon, bro.
Yeah.
And having to go on the road out to Eugene and play them. That I don't know, man. That I think that game can get out of hand.
And
So
Dante Moore is kind of putting up a Heisman campaign. He's leading the team,
yeah,
and
man.
of course, passing and leading the team in rushing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So they and Oregon is coming off of, like we said a little earlier, they're coming off of, that big win. I mean, we can debate on how big of a win it is now because of what Penn State did last week.
right.
But they go on the road to Happy Valley Whiteout game. That's Penn State's Super Bowl, that Whiteout game, and they go and they come out of there with a win, and now they get to go back home and host the Indiana team that I think they're gonna put a good thumping on Indiana, bro. So had them tuck their tails going back down to Bloomington, bro. So I think that one can get out of hand early.
I think we're all on the same page with you, man.
Maybe not as much as I see it because I'm Oregon by 30,
Well,
bro.
we all got Oregon taking it though, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hey man, so my boy Jody, one more time, man. Get the people, let everybody know where they can find you and the boys, man, and so they can come give y'all a like and a follow, a share, and all of that.
The 14 Inches podcast on all social medias. Well, no, we got a Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram at Boogaloo Joe. That's my DJ name. That's that's what my players call me. I'm a coach as well.
Mm-hmm.
I wear a bunch of hats. Come check us out, man. We mainly talk about Florida State, Miami, and Florida football. But we will, talk about other teams sometimes. But that's our main content is the big three down in Florida. But yeah, come check us out, man. We putting out some good stuff.
For sure, man. And for everybody that don't know and might want to, just a little bit of a pull the curtain back on the connection, man. When the two of us were out at Concordia, Chicago, I was there as a baseball recruit. Jarvis was there, obviously, as a football recruit, and that's how our paths crossed. And even though I ain't seen him in some years, still kept in touch. Still fans of what each other got going on, man. So I was just happy. I was happy to make this connection and to hop on with them a few nights ago and return the favor today and be able to, chop up some college football, man. And obviously, we'll do some more things in the future, man, for sure.
Most definitely.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you stopping by the podcast, man. Definitely a pleasure. You are welcome back whenever. Chop it up.
Appreciate
Open invite for all of y'all, man. And make sure Bird get his flowers because me and him was the only ones that went 3-0 last week. Make sure he shouting out Michael Irvin and the finest of dope.
Boy, my boy came on with a robe in the last episode of Miami Robe.
Oh man,
yeah,
as always, man.
We full of antics.
Yeah.
And
Mills, that's a good dude. I know he last week didn't go his way, but
yeah.
Still a homie in my book, man, and all three of y'all, man. If it was up to me, man, we could put a 6-man Zoom together. If it was up to me, man.
Yeah.
But
y'all come down for a game, man. Let's plan. Come down for a game next year.
Yeah, man, for sure. We have to do. I'm ready for fall, bro. They need to wrap this summer stuff up, bro. It's up here, bro. It's October 6th, and it was like 86 degrees up here in Chicago today, bro. I'm so tired of summer. I need to get this over with. I'm ready for Timbs and jeans. I'm ready for hoodies. Let's get
ready
this.
for that pumpkin spice weather, man. That's what you're ready for.
Man, I ain't say all that, bro. I did not say all that. I said I'm ready for hoodies and Timbs and jeans, bro. I'm tired of putting on shorts and tank tops, bro. Wrap this up.
No, it was in the 90s here last week. I was like,
yeah, see.
I thought it was getting cool. What happened? We went, they hit the reverse button. It was
supposed to be football season. This ain't football season to me in October. It's supposed to be about 50-something.
Yeah.
A little chill in the air, see your breath a little bit in the morning, and it's 85 out here, man. Wrap this up. For sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, all
man.
right, man.
Appreciate you, bro. We would definitely do some more things in the future, man. And for all the, like we said earlier, man, for everybody that supports Room A-108, if you support us, that means you support them. Go get them fellas over at the Fourth and Inches podcast. Like, subscribe, follow, and a share. And make sure y'all show them some love, man, the way y'all show it to us.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. Appreciate
For
it.
sure, man. We'll catch y'all next time at Room A-108, and hopefully y'all catching them next time on the Fourth and Inches podcast, man. We'll see y'all next time.
I want 108.